Welcome back to the channel where I talk to the people behind Australia's franchises, asking them the real questions about what makes their franchise tick and why you should consider buying into their network. Less sales talk and more real info that gets under the covers of franchise ownership. Today's quick-fire Q&A spotlight is on Listen to Your Body Gym franchise. To see if you are a good fit for Listen to Your Body, click on our assessment link in the description, or if you simply want more information, go to hatch.com and hit inquire to receive their franchise information pack. Now let's get into it with Ben Fletcher, founder and CEO of Listen to Your Body. Welcome, Ben.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks for having me.
Okay, let's jump into company overview and history. So where did it all start for you with Listen to Your Body? Like what year did you establish and what was the vision for the business?
A long time ago is the answer. No, 2001 it all started. Yeah, I started it as a personal trainer out of Baskerville Vale in Victoria as a one-on-one trainer. And I guess had a passion for fitness very early into my career and built up a pretty strong one-on-one business with close to 20 personal trainers. And flipped the vision in 2008 to open up group personal training studios. Yeah.
Excellent. And so franchising commenced in 2008 for you, was it?
I actually didn't probably know what franchising was then, to be totally honest. Yeah. But I opened up a studio in late 2008, and we ran that as one studio. And then after a couple of years of running a successful studio, we franchised in 2012.
Yep.
And launched softly in 2013, very softly with a pilot model. So we took our time on doing a lot of road testing before we went to market.
Good. Excellent. So with regards, moving into now, we're going to talk about product and service. Where would you say your core is? What's your focus in this fitness space?
Yeah, I'll take it back one step. I get asked this all the time, but predominantly in the industry, in our training space, I'm not talking about the other parts like Pilates, etc., yoga, that part of the industry, but there's like gym memberships, personal training, and group training. Let's just say one size fits all group training. Where we sit in the space is personalized workouts within a group. So we're a hybrid of personal training and group fitness.
Excellent. Target market-wise and any sort of industry trends, like who is your typical customer that you're chasing? Who can franchisees expect that they're selling to?
Yeah, to keep it really simple, it's unmotivated, inactive people we go after. So
like myself.
I know it's crazy. We probably fell into it back from what we learned from personal training, like all those lessons for doing hundreds of thousands of sessions of personal training that people responded quite well to have an appointment, accountability, technique correction. They needed motivation, inspiration, etc. So we basically took that and put it into a group model. And then over the years, it's just got more and more defined to go after that 83% of the population, 81 to 83, depending on what data you actually read, 81 to 83% of people who are not training consistently. We want that member and we go after that member. We market to that member. We do fall a lot into the 45 plus market as a predominant.
Yep.
But anyone who's looking for motivation, we don't really go after the 17% self-starters that are fully motivated. They'll probably go to the gyms or the high-intensity group fitness classes. We'll go after people who are looking for more support, expertise, motivation, accountability.
Okay, that sounds great. Jumping into some of the numbers and understanding your franchise a lot more, we're going to discuss ongoing fees. So what's the breakdown of your monthly royalties, marketing fees? Is it weekly? Is it monthly? What's percentages or fixed?
Yeah, we've got a pretty simple model. We're at 8% royalty, including GST, no marketing fund. So,
no marketing fund.
Yeah, we don't have a marketing fund. We never had. We were advised pretty early not to have a marketing fund. Good or bad, that's always a double-edged sword, that, as we know in franchising. That's another podcast probably. Yep. No, we don't have a marketing fund. So we do contribute out of the royalties towards marketing. So, for example, as we speak now, in early 2025, we're on the back end of a project to get a new website done, which, as you know, it's a big investment. Franchisees aren't paying extra for that. That's all part of our contribution to marketing.
Yep. And is it weekly deductions or monthly? What's the frequency?
We do it weekly. We sort of thought about monthly a long time ago, but just for cash flow, we find it's just good for everyone to do weekly. So we set it up and it's just set it up. It runs every Friday. It's a pretty good system. It's always worked quite well. Weekly's for us.
Excellent. Okay, training and support. Now, this is a really, really important topic because people want to understand the whole purpose of getting into franchising is all about being part of a system, part of a team, part of a brand. So we're going to discuss training and support. Do you guys have, what does it look like coming into the franchise? How many weeks out do you guys start? Is it opening promotions? Is it is it running the business in the gym? What does it look like, I suppose, before opening?
Yeah, how long have we got? Now, to be honest, I actually had this conversation even as recent as this morning. The actual training and support even starts in the franchise application process by educating. That's the incidental, not the formal. But then once we actually go into an agreement, then what we do, we then go into site selection mode. Yep. That's, to me, there's a little bit of training, but I call that part of project management. And then once we've got the site, we really start 12 weeks out because we need a 4-week period to cover off our sales and marketing, especially our sales training before memberships go on sale. So it starts at 12 months out. We've got, we use Op Central, which you know very well, of course. So we use Op Central. That talks to another document. We've got a massive checklist for a specific franchisee induction program that we've got through Op Central, which is separate to the operations manual. Yep. And then we work through every one till we go open. We do say, funny enough, once again, we're talking about this change. Well, actually, here's some behind the scenes, but we're not going to actually advertise anymore. It's 40 hours because it's much more than 40 hours. Yeah. It's whatever it takes. Like, I don't know, it's like we're saying, why do we need to say 40 hours? It's like, it's not 40 hours. It's like it's hundreds of hours, really. It's different things. So it's whatever it takes to get that person ready. And that might also mean, okay, you're going to spend time in this studio. We need more time in sales. We need to do more mystery shoppers. So it is actually, what we've learned is it's sort of more case by case, whereas I think when we started franchising, franchise support, franchisee induction, cookie cutter approach, bang. But what we've learned over the years is we've got to drill down on what the franchise owner needs to fast track their development. Because as we know, the quicker they're good at their job, the quicker they'll make money. So
correct.
It's like this real race to education. It's like, no, these are the areas we're going to hone in. We don't need to spend time on budgets because they're good at that. But sales is a thing. Or, we're still not sure. We're going to plug in an extra salesperson to build our sales team. So we take a real customized approach.
So then we move into opening phase, and you've done your 12-week program, the 4-week training, the opening promotion, the sales to get pre-sale memberships on board. What does it look like day one, and how involved is your area managers? How involved are you for the first couple of months? Because this is a very scary time for franchisees.
First thing I'll say on that, I think that's also a trap that, for what it's worth, as we're talking about franchising, a bit of a look under the hood, so to speak, is it can be a trap, I think, where once the business is open, you can think, oh yeah, we've done what we need to in the franchise induction. They're open, they're away. Like, it's a trap franchisors, I think, can fall into that they've done enough, which is, I think that's where it starts. So we've got like a system where we do like a 10-week follow up, because we think it's about 10 weeks to embed. They need to learn and make mistakes, but then there's like follow-ups weekly. Big cross-checks as well. Like, we've got cross-checks as well with all the systems. Oh, yeah, we learned 7.2 back 8 weeks ago. What's the execution like on that? So we do cross-check of all the training from the pre-open, and it's a 10-week intense period. Similar to what I was saying before, some people will pick it up at different speeds, but it's whatever's required to make sure. And then we'll have conversation at head office. It might be like, week 3, we know sales is going going very well, or we know that retention's going well, we need more time spent on the service delivery. We need to put in more time to the trainers or whatever that might be. So it's like almost like that 12-week prior, but then it's 10-week post. And we think that after 10 weeks, they've probably gone from the L plates to the P plates, to be honest.
Yeah.
It still takes time though. Like it's not the finished product. And then it's just like we worked it out. We have contact with the average franchise owner. We've got some that are more than a decade now, actually a fair few that have been with us for like multiple. Like a lot of the early founding franchisees are still with us 10, 13 years later. We still have contact with them 3 times a week. The average is 3 times a week per owner. So we're very hands-on like that.
That's awesome. 3 times a week ongoing from there. Fantastic.
Yeah. And that's not always like a labor-intensive 30-minute Zoom or site visit or that. It might be some form of yeah, exactly. It's like it might be an email exchange. Hey, what do you think of this? Or got this, whatever it might be. It's like supports, so many different things. So, but we average around 3 points of contact per franchise owner per week, even with a mature network. So it's 7.76 is our current average tenure per franchisee and growing daily years. Yeah.
Fantastic. Now, moving on to day in the life. Franchisee, what's their role? What's the responsibility? They have the keys, they get out of the car of whatever ungodly hour of the morning. What's expected? What is the position that they take in the business? And what do they need to do?
So we've got 2 types of owners. One type of owner is a personal trainer who's running the business, very hands-on owner-operator. The other type of owner is an owner-operator, but they're more business-minded. They're not on the floor as such. They're more business-minded running the business, but they do have a passion for fitness. So depending on what the structure of what type of franchise owner there is, but also what type of structure they have. Do they have a manager that sits underneath them, which most do, a lot do, which is the ideal world. So depending on that, but as a general overview, an owner might like touch base with the manager, touch base on the data, the weekly goals, leads, retention, at-risk clients, staff rosters, staff development, studio cleanliness, and overall plan. So we sort of look at it like what we operate like, all right, who's doing the sales? Who's doing the retention? So it's like sales and operations. And then each owner's a bit different. Like James from Martin, who's one of our best, he's actually an accountant by trade. We actually won Franchise of the Year last year. He's got a manager. He actually goes to the studio once every 2 months. So he's not hands-on. Another owner will be there every day because that's just what they like to do. So they don't have to be there all the time. The only probably 2 bits of advice I'd give for the people who see this is one, I believe in the fitness industry, it's not like at the start in particular, it's not just an investment type of business where you just chuck your money in and hopefully it comes back times 2 or 3. You still got to work it and operate it. Then it just depends on, the second part is, depends on what structure that individual wants to do, as long as we're covering off the sales, the member experience, which then helps the member retention. So our model's simple, just get members, keep members, and everything builds around that.
Fantastic. Staff and requirements, what does it look like? We've just spoken about, you've got franchisees who are owner-operators, you've got franchisees who then have managers in place. Do you then have casual trainers, and if so, how many of those? How many people are expected to be employed?
So, sorry about that. So 3 to 4 trainers per studio. So, there's usually 1 full timer and usually around 3 casuals.
Okay. Location requirements and territory information we are looking at. So what would a typical studio, what sort of square meterage are we looking at? And whereabouts would it be located?
Yeah, good question. We use Gap Maps, who you know very well, of course. Been with Gap Maps for 7 years. So territories. So a few things. The actual site itself, 140 to 250 squares. We do work on $400 per square meter, but for us, it's more about your gross rent. It's more important to work our rent to revenue ratio. So for us, we're not interested in having a 250 square meter site at $400 per square, which is $100 grand plus, which which means that we're going to be rental revenue is going to be like 25 to 28%, which will shrink our profits. So long story short, $60,000 to $80,000 rent, but the minimum size we really want is 140 is our ideal. In relation to territories, like we've got, as most people know in franchising, we've got peak territories and not as strong territories. It depends on the factors such as population. Competitors weigh in a little bit, but we actually find that advantageous for us. But basically, we have minimum 30,000 people per territory. Ideal, the socioeconomic ratings a minimum of 5 there, because our membership model, we 140 members, we're profitable, so we don't need to be in the Toorak's of the world in Victoria, which is ridiculously affluent, to be super successful. We can be in sort of that medium class, middle class territory. So, and the last comment on sites, it doesn't need, yes, commercial one, but it doesn't need to be peak location because we're a destination business. We definitely don't want to be in shopping centres, with all respect. We want to be side street, first floor, shopping strips, neighbourhood centres, showrooms, as opposed to mainstream retail, which drive up the price per square metre. We don't need to be in there because people will find us. Most leads come socials anyway.
Yeah. And with regards to the territory, are you exclusive, non-exclusive?
Yeah, exclusive. Yep. And we got another rule as well. Look, we have had variations to this, but we're really big on being generous with our territories and protecting our franchise owners to maximise their profit, because as we know in franchising, is if the franchise owners are not profiting, you can't grow your business, as we know. So we aim for a 4K rule per studio. The variables to that 4 kilometres is density of population. We've got one that's like in a regional area that we, it would need to be like 20Ks, because 20Ks regional is different to 4Ks metro. So we opened up one, which was a bit of a line ball that we'd had planned for 3 years. We communicated with all parties. It was 1.9K one way, 2.1 the other. And there's this one little area we wanted to, because we weren't servicing a particular area, and there was main roads where people didn't cross too much. So it's pretty scientific. I know you know what I'm saying here, but long story short, we decided to open it. We spoke to the people first. Funny enough, one of the people actually multi-unit this site. And since it's open, all businesses have just gone through the roof. So it was actually because of the brand awareness, staff changeover, it was, I knew deep down, I knew that it was a great decision, to be honest, for the other studio that was only a couple of K away.
Brand awareness.
Because brand awareness, it just it literally gone up, it'd be a 10-year-old business as well, just gone to a whole new level.
Excellent. Franchisee qualifications and experience required. Are we looking for fitness people with qualifications? People watching this video, what exactly are you looking for in a franchisee?
There's 2 types, and they've both got their, variables. The one type is people with inside the industry can work and has worked. It also can come with challenges as well, to be honest, where people have preconceived
behaviors.
Yeah, just to try and influence that. We have that. We always do that, qualification early. We've actually knocked a fair few back, so we're not going to change this person. They've learnt that way for 15 years, and, maybe they want to come with a brand because they know we've got the toolkit. They know we know how to open studios. They know they can be, and that's what they look. But we're more looking for franchise owners who will conform and buy into our systems and processes. We all know it in franchising. The only time I've ever seen something go wrong is when people don't follow the systems and process. I've never seen people follow systems and processes and not do well. I've never seen it in franchising for 11 years. But anyway, fitness people can work for sure. They bring together skills. They've just got to be willing to give themselves to the brand. So I know it sounds weird saying that, but they've got to be willing to buy into that new way. And then the other type of person being a business-orientated person from outside the industry, that's very successful for us because they usually really are students of the industry and students of the system. What we find with without even diving too deep, two of our better performers, one was actually inside the industry, one was outside the industry. They just bombarded us with questions and head office support tickets, like we're talking 10 times a day in the first 10 weeks.
Good.
But they were saying, we're really sorry. And we're saying, no, we love it. We love it. When was radio silence? And you go, hang on, they've been open for 4 weeks. They should be
There's problems
asking
when there's
questions.
silence.
Massive problems.
Questions are always good. Radio silence is bad because
it's never good.
As a franchisor, you've got to go looking for the problems then. So it's that's the challenge.
It is, yeah.
Okay. Unique selling propositions, and what do you believe your competitive advantage is in the fitness industry?
I think personalization to attract the members is our biggest competitive advantage. We're going after that market that, like, I've got to be careful saying this. I know I'm on the record here. I've got to be careful saying this, but if you look at most fitness advertising and marketing, it's fit people with great rigs doing medicine ball slams, battle ropes, air bike, pushing himself at 95% max heart rate. If I'm one of that 83% of the market out there on the couch right now, I'm thinking to myself, that could be for them.
Yep.
Yeah. So we try and market like, hey, you haven't done anything for 5 years, we want to meet you type stuff. You know what I mean? Like we want to slow and steady, learn techniques, create training habits. So our big point of difference from a customer point of view is going after that market, genuinely having a model that adapts as technology to cater for that market instead of which way is the wind going. So that's how we build everything around for that market, that we want to save lives. You know, we want people to we want people's blood sugars to drop down. We want people to blood pressure to drop down, less chance for chronic illnesses, and you can certainly help that through. That's the market we absolutely want. It's not uncommon to walk in any studio I've got in Australia and they're all the same people. Yeah. They're not wearing half tops really. We don't have mirrors, so yeah.
Very good. Okay. And this is so this question is a very honest question, because there's no industry out there that doesn't have challenges or potential risks for franchisees. What do you see in your particular business will be a potential risk and a challenge for a franchisee coming in?
The wrong alignment to a brand is probably the biggest risk, I think, like the wrong suitability. So I think it's really important for both parties to do your due diligence on each other. It's not just a sales process from the franchisor, sign up, I want to sell a franchise, but from the franchisee, they need to really do their research and select carefully. So compatibility is very important as a risk. Because if someone's like goes into a business where they're not passionate about, and it's just a transaction, I don't think for our business, to your question, is suitable for that. You need to be passionate about change, and you need to be passionate about health and fitness. Many people have said, "Oh yeah, bang, I want to buy one." It's like, "Oh, you're not really passionate about fitness. How's that going to fly? How are you going to motivate staff?" And so I think that's really important. So compatibility would be a big one. Risk is and challenges. I think generally speaking, like landing a good site's always, you've got to say that's always a challenge. I think landing that good site with good terms, you've got to get your leash right. If your leash is wrong, you can have a great business and fail.
Yep.
So we're very careful with that, of course. We know our ratios. We know we've got 44 points on a criteria that we've got to approve before we say we would approve us to go to the next level through our lease negotiations, which we're very full on with the property side of things with our guys. And I'd say probably property, compatibility. Competitors, I think if you're good enough, you're still going to do well. So I don't think that's one without being arrogant. I think if you're good enough, I think you can stand out from the crowd with your uniqueness of your own community you create. And I think they're the main ones, to be totally honest. The rest is business is just a challenge in general, as we know. But I think they're the two biggest ones. Compatibility, just making sure you get a good site.
Yeah. Success stories, like you mentioned earlier in this interview or the Q&A, you've got a tenure of 7.5 years. But talk to me about MSO growth for those multi-unit growth, people who own more than one. Is there any really strong success stories that come to mind, given your experience since franchising?
Yeah. So with our model, I think up to 2021, you asked me for honesty here. Of course, I always be honest. We know each other for a while now, Dave. So, I'm always honest. But I felt with our business model before end of 2021, it was more like a single unit owner operated business model because I was like so reliant. A bit like, I shouldn't just say like a physio business or a chiro, osteo. A lot of people go there for that person.
Reliant on the owner.
Key person reliance. It was a bit like that with the way our model was set up. It was still the same framework of what we stood for and how we ran our sessions, but we tech-enabled the whole business with our programming content, which I think has changed the game, which means that replication is so much easier, recruitment, retention, training, development of staff, which is, as we know, a multi-unit. The biggest key with multi-unit, as we know, is leveraging and developing our staff so we can drive multiple studios. So since we did that, 2022, let's say we come to market with a good multi-unit offering. And since then, we've had 3 parties that have gone down that line, and all of them have been extremely good. One of them in particular, like, obviously I won't share numbers here, but just craziness. Like, two of the studios are in the top 4 multi-units. So the second multi-unit, he purchased off someone else off a pretty good price, pretty good exit, and it was a good business, like performing well, but he's added like an extra, lot of members to that business. So can't talk numbers, of course, but so we've got 3 now, and they're three of our better performers. So our multi-units have been strong. Touch wood, there's been no expanded to quick stories within our network. I like the concept of it, but the guys, we've got some pretty good criteria as well. They've got to be less operational within the business. They've got to prove and they've done this amount over a 12-month period of cash. They've got to comply to the systems. There's multiple things we've got to approve a multi-unit, which gives us a better base. So, they're all doing pretty well.
So it's that shift from the single unit owner reliance into now we actually have a business that is less reliant on the owner, who in turn gives you the ability to compound growth over year on year, where the success of the franchisees is ultimately driving the success of the franchisor. So good on you, Ben. Well, that's it, Ben. Thank you very much, and thank you for being honest. But thanks for letting us in under the hood of Listen to Your Body. Really enjoyed the conversation, and best of luck with the growth.
No worries, Dave. Thanks for having me.
To see if you're a good fit for Listen to Your Body, click on our assessment link in the description, or if you simply want more information, go to hatch.com and hit inquire to receive their franchise information pack.